All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Discovering Multifamily podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Anthony Scandariato, here with Red Knight Properties. And today we have a special guest here with us on President's Day and in 2023, Trevor Thompson. And for those of you who don't know Trevor, he's been around for quite a while. He's a passionate real estate investor. He's been around. He's based in Austin, Texas. He's both on what makes Trevor a little bit unique. He's both on the limited partner side, which means basically passively investing, and also on the general partner side, which means actively investing and kind of, I'm sure, a combination of passively investing with that general partnership that he's built up. And he's been around for a while. He's worked in different types of businesses, including indoor skydiving, worldwide brand and business. And now he's over the past several years plus, he's been focusing on real estate investing again on both the started out with the passively side and then transitioned to actively side. I've seen a combination of starting out actively and then going passively, and so Trevor has a little bit of a unique story. I haven't heard from passive to active that much, so I'd love to hear how that happened. And like I said, he's been around for a while, has seen interest rates much higher from where they are today. So we'll talk a little bit about what he's seeing out there in the market. And at the current state of Trevor's affairs, he's the Vice President of Investor Engagement at Massive Capital. And I'll let him talk about his role there. So thanks for coming on the show, Trevor.
I'm so excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
Great. So obviously you've been around in different types of businesses. Can you walk us through your story and why you, you came across real estate?
Yeah, so I have a very unique story. I was in the attractions business my whole life. Actually started working for Ripley's, believe it or not, at age 13, then did 18 years with Guinness World of Records, did some entrepreneurial ones where I opened different visitor attractions. And then I got recruited by iFLY Indoor Skydiving. And interestingly enough, the owner on our very first team meeting gave everybody a copy of Rich Dad, Poor Dad and said, if you don't learn to make money while you'll sleep, you'll work till you'll die. You need to do this. And I did what so many people did. I read the book, I was inspired, and then did nothing. I was too busy, right? I was afraid of toilets, tenants, and trash. I was too busy. I didn't understand it. No money, all of those excuses. And so it was always nagging me in the back of my mind. And then I was a 20-year career with iFLY Indoor Skydiving, and we got bought out. So I actually got a payday. So I had no money. The no money excuse went away. And I thought, okay, I need to learn more about this real estate investing. So I started going to webinars and weekend sales seminars. And then I came across multifamily syndication, and the light bulb went on. It just went boom. Oh, I get it now. I can invest in people that have experience, that are going to buy a real asset. They're going to put better business practices in place. They're going to make money and share that money with me. And the light bulb went on. I don't know why it took my thick head so long to understand it, but I was always intimidated by it all and just didn't understand that I could passively invest and other people would take care of it. And I just, once that light bulb came on, I was hooked. So in 5 years, I've passively invested in 20 syndications, not all just multifamily. So I have retail, medical center, new build storage, mostly in Texas, but I've done Arizona, North and South Carolina. And I just got hooked on it because I started to see the power of it. You know, how you can use the bank leverage, you can use the depreciation and all of the different things. And it just, I tell you, once I got on it, I got hooked. I really did.
Yeah. And it sounds like from the experience starting out as a passive investor, you were able to identify a few sponsors that I'm sure you're, working with moving forward, and has seen success, and you've kind of seen how they were able to operate and perform. And now I guess moving forward, you're looking to be on that side just because, you feel like you've learned a decent amount, but there's more to learn, right? And being on the other side.
Yeah. And it's incredible. There's so much to learn, even at every level of it, right? And as the world changes and conditions change, I'm super, super Like, I love to learn. I love to study things. I'm obsessed. I listen to about 100 Audible books a year, and about a third of them are real estate. The rest are business and self-improvement, and go to a lot of webinars, listen to a lot of podcasts, and try to get inspired. And if there's anything I could say to your audience, is don't wait. I didn't really start doing this till I was in my 50s. And if you think of the power of starting earlier, right? Buy real estate and wait. Don't wait to buy real estate. It's my life would be totally different if I'd have started 25 years ago. When a lot of people should be starting and should have some disposable income to invest passively.
Yeah. So your first passive investment you made, I'd love to hear how you made that decision. It's a big leap of faith in terms of
It
trust,
is.
because you're partnering with someone, and it really comes down to, yeah, the deal's got to make sense, but at the end of the day, who's going to be responsible for operating it? It's going to be the faces of the
Yeah.
sponsorship team. So
And so I looked at about probably a half a dozen mentor programs, and I actually joined a local Texas one. I don't refer them anymore because they just haven't kept up with the times, and there's other groups that do better. But no matter what, it gave me my start. It gave me my information. I got to know people. Their motto was Texans investing in Texas, and I liked that idea. I could go see the assets. And so I made my first two investments very quickly, within weeks of each other, both in multifamily, one in San Antonio, one in Houston. And in fact, one of the sponsors is a partner in Massive Capital. He's come full circle, and he actually left for a little while with a family situation and came back. And I just had to learn how to connect and trust people. And then it was all relationship building after that. I would spend sometimes up to a year looking at a sponsor and looking at their deals, asking for reports on different, how do you report to your investors? What do you do? Getting to know you. And then I would make the investment. And, some of them I've invested with again. Some of them, the experience hasn't been what I'd hoped for. So I've moved on and invested with others. But in general, my investments have performed pretty well. There's a little pressure, obviously, on some of them right now with the interest rates, but overall, I still think the world will normalize, and everything will be good.
okay. Talk to us about what you're seeing right now, in regards to the interest rates, and
Yeah,
obviously,
so two things have happened. Obviously, interest rates have gone way up. And so one of my deals, and this is something I never thought to ask the question. Asked the question, did you buy a cap rate? And they said yes, but they didn't underwrite up to paying the full cap rate, because everybody thought it would never happen, right? It would never come. So now they're stressed because their payments have gone up. And so they cease distributions, and they're actually doing a small cash call. But this will get them, this is really just to buy the new cap, and then they should be able to meet their going on forward business plan. So that was definitely a bit of a misstep. And when we talk about interest rates, I lived back, my first home mortgage had 16% interest rate, if you can imagine. And so if you think about it, 2, 3, 4% interest rates, that's not really normal. 4, 5, 6 is normal. And what's not normal is 7, 8, 9. And so we went from one side of abnormal within a very short period, way to the other side of abnormal. And so that's caused so much havoc and panic and things that have happened. I'm not an economist, but all smart people indicate that it's going to slowly start coming back, and it will probably level out to what is normal. I'm not sure we're going to go back to the 2, 3s, and 4s, but it will definitely normalize at some point in time once they get inflation under control.
sure. And now your partnership with Massive Capital, what does your role look like? You mentioned, before we got on the call, how your strength wasn't all in underwriting, but you still have a lot to learn, like you just mentioned.
Yeah.
What is your focus with them on the active side now that you felt
Yeah.
comfortable, from the passive side? Like, what are you working on?
So I definitely on the active side. So I had a couple of deals that went active before I joined Massive Capital. One of them, I am the asset manager, and I'm still doing that. That's a separate thing. And then in my partnership with Massive, I'm very active. and I like connecting people and I like doing things. So I kind of created my own title, which is always nice when a group wants you enough to let you kind of create a little box that fits you, Vice President Investor Engagement. And my idea is to really engage with investors, connect with people that want to get to the next level, try to create more of a community, try to do investor events. And we don't want to do a full-blown mentorship program, but we want to create a community that has education, that has more elements of a structure somewhere in the middle of, you know, the full-blown sponsorships and just the people that put deals out and put education out so that they can stay relevant. And it's a good role for me because I like connecting with people. Super active, go to a lot of events, and so it just basically is a fit that you know, we can do it. I've obviously looked at a lot of deals too, so I'm on their committee that looks at deals, and their thing is very unique. They will do deals on their own. They do a lot of partnership deals. So what they'll do is they'll look at deals that maybe we're struggling to get closed or closed and still need something done. And they'll spend some time vetting those partners and then make a decision. Okay, are we going to come in and help them finish the deal? What does that look like? How do we protect our investors moving forward? So I refer to them as opportunistic sponsors. So they're not sitting there with one model, right? So we're doing a land entitlement right now, which I can't say because it's a 506C, but then they're doing some other ones that are a B, so we can't talk about them, but they're deals that have already closed, but closed short, right? They got closed, they're nice guys, the properties are good. It's a little tough to raise money right now, and they've been able to come in and fill that gap and then offer support to sponsors.
That's great. And so when your company got bought out, how long did it take for you to, you know, acquire the first property or make your first investment? What was that time? Were you trying to figure out what you were going to do after that for a time?
Well, so it
Or
didn't get bought out. We got acquired, but everybody still had
acquired?
their job. It
That's
was
what I
just a
meant.
private
Yeah.
equity
Oh,
company.
okay.
So I was
Okay.
still employed.
Okay.
But what pushed me over, you know, I was always thinking to leave. I wasn't very happy with the situation, you know. Investment type people don't run businesses the same as entrepreneurs run business and things. And I was a little unhappy. So I was thinking of going, and then this funny thing called COVID came along and it made the decision for me. I was in the
Yeah.
development. They weren't going to develop anymore. I opened 46 of 80 locations. I also took over some franchise locations, and it's the exact same as taking over apartments, right? We went in there, put some capex, did all the same things. So I had a lot of experience in that space.
Mhm.
It was just a different metric, right? A different way of, but everything was identical to what
Yeah.
you do when you take over an apartment and create value.
Right. Let's talk about that. You mentioned you've invested in different asset classes. What led you to focusing on multifamily?
So multifamily I like the most because it kind of suited my why. And my why is to create better places for people to live, to create better places for people to work. So the property management company that's running it. And then if we do that, it will produce rewards for our passive investors so they can go do their why, right? So I like the fact that we're taking over communities, we're fixing communities, we're making the world in theory a better place. On this new deal, we're building some much needed, you know, housing at a middle level, right? We're not an apartment complex. We're going to do townhomes. We're not a red home. We're fitting in a little niche. And that really resonates with me to be able to do that. But I wanted to be a little more diversified, not have all my eggs in one basket. So I dabbled in retail. Again, great timing. We closed March 15th, 2020. It still actually produced a cash flow all the way through the deal. And it's stabilized. And once interest rates normalize, it will make money on the sale. Storage, again, I wanted to be involved in storage. I was a little leery buying them on pause and automating them and doing things. So I went for a new build in a really high growth area just outside of Charlotte. And I liked that concept. And I wanted an investment in the Carolinas. I like that pro business, pro everything state, a lot of growth happening there. So it was a way for me. And again, how it lined up, I've been working with this person and looking at their deals for about a year. I didn't invest in anything. I just kept following. And then all of a sudden I call it the trifecta. Somebody, number one, somebody I wanted to invest with. Number two, an asset class I wanted to try, which was storage, and I wanted a new build. Number three, in a city or in a state that I wanted to invest in an area. And I understood it. My brother lives near there, so I've been there frequently. And so all the trifectas, I call it. And so I decided to make that particular investment. But most of my investments are in Texas. Most are multifamily, and then medical. With COVID, I started thinking, boy, I should look at this. And then actually one of our partners within Massive, he's a partner that we go with. He does a lot of development. I invested in a medical center with him. And it's so funny, like almost 18 months round circle, he's the lead sponsor on the Georgetown deal that I'm it's how real estate is this very small group, but I got to know him. I wanted to do a medical investment. I'm happy with the way they're running the investment. And then boom, now I'm on a deal with him. It's kind of that, how that connection with people really can work out. And if you strategically plan, look at things, then it can really create a good path for you.
Yeah, no, 100% agree. And you mentioned that at Massive right now, part of your new role is to focus on investor engagement, which means education really is what it comes down to. What sort of educational mediums are you presenting to them?
Yeah, so right now we're doing weekly webinars every Wednesday on different topics. So this week happens to be use of retirement funds, a lot of things. A few weeks ago, we did one. We lost $100,000 and we're happy. Strange topic, right? But it was basically, we walked away from a deal, and here's why we walked away from a deal, so that people understand, not every deal makes sense, and sometimes you are going to lose money. In fact, my first GP deal, I lost 75,000 over 350 that we lost hard money. I put the second hard money to extend the loan personally. And it's a tough lesson. But I want to make sure that people learn those lessons, right? People understand, the risk reward of, but again, I want to make sure I'm clear on that deal. All the passives money was returned. It was only the active sponsors. So a lot of education that way. We do for people raising capital. We have a call every 10 a.m. every single day, every week. And we talk about, what objections are you getting? How can we help you talk through the objections? We've hired a consultant through the Grant Cardone licensing system. And once a week we have a meeting with him, and he does a higher level course. And so we're just trying to say, instead of saying, hey, go raise $500,000, good luck, pray and spray, we're trying to at least say, okay, let me get on a call with somebody and help you. We'll talk through that so that you can learn how to do it yourself.
Sure.
And that's kind of, I'm going to call it real life education.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And that's a great service that you're providing to people who are looking to get their feet wet, whether it's passively or actively. So that's awesome. Sounds like there's a lot of different mediums that you're, getting out there and marketing to people on behalf of. So with that said, what would be the best way for my audience to reach out to you and connect with you?
So LinkedIn's the easiest, just because I pretty much accept every invite, especially if you say I saw you on a podcast. Facebook, I'm almost at that proverbial 5,000 friends, trying to get rid of people, and I'm a little more leery, but LinkedIn is the best. And you just got to remember the K Trevor Thompson. I also have a YouTube channel, again, K Trevor Thompson, where I post different educational information and things that I hope will help people get comfortable with investing in real estate.
That's awesome. Well, I encourage my audience, if you want to reach out to Trevor, make sure you don't forget the K. Put the K in front and you'll find him. He's everywhere. A great guy. And if you liked what you heard and or saw today, please give us a rating and review on iTunes. It'll help my message and Trevor's message get out to a greater audience. That's just the way the algorithm works. So really appreciate that, and really looking forward to staying in touch with you, Trevor, and enjoy the rest of your day.
Awesome. I'm glad we were able to get this in. Thanks so much.
Excellent. Thank you.